Okay, now that we've added our stakeholders, we're going to go ahead and go to share classes and add some certificates from there. To do so, we'll navigate to the share classes dashboard, and we'll go ahead and select filings. From filings, you can add any additional authorized shares that have been approved by the board. You give it a name, add a date, and then select the plus share class here, where you'll have a share class name, an authorized share, and an original issue price, as well as a certificate prefix. Once we've finished adding our information to the filings, we'll go ahead and save it. In this case, I'm going to leave it as is. You can also edit the amount of authorized shares, the total number authorized, by editing the number here. But again, I'm going to go ahead and leave that be. When selecting share class details, you can edit a little bit more information about these share classes. I'll go ahead and hit Edit Class. Here you can edit the class name, the certificate prefix, and allow for multiple closing dates if your certificates have different dates for these shares. You can also edit the par value as well as the conversion price, edit information about the liquidation preference, such as the participation type, whether there's a cap or uncapped, as well as the preference multiplier, and entering a cap if there is a cap. You can also put dividends and add a dividend rate as well as accrued dividend per share. And you can also do an anti-dilution protection. No anti-dilution protection. You can add a broad-based weighted average, narrow-based weighted average, or full ratchet. You can also add voting rights to these shares. Once you finally edited the information of the share classes, you can select Add Issuance to add a share certificate. In this case, I didn't save my changes for multiple closing dates, so it's going to default to February 1st, 2022, which is the associated filing for this share class. You can look up the stakeholder. In this case, we can select 3 bake. However, if you have a stakeholder that hasn't been added to the system, you can select the plus stakeholder here to add that stakeholder's information, which will then auto-populate here. You can also add any trusts or other information about the registered name here, as well as a certificate number and the number of shares associated with that certificate. If there's a vesting schedule associated with the certificate, you can select this here and then select a vesting template. If there's a purchase agreement associated that you would like to use the online agreement process, you can select the agreement and then send it for our online agreement process through DocuSign. Now that we have a few certificates, let's go ahead and write one to the blockchain. Writing to the blockchain allows you to create a ledger of information that may happen with the certificate, as seen here below in a certificate with the transaction history. So I'm going to go ahead and write this to the blockchain, and I'll be right back. Now that the certificate's been written to the blockchain, we now can perform transactions on it, such as transfers, repurchases, or mergers. To do so, select one of the following. I'm going to select transfer. Then I'm going to select this name here, VAnge, and then I'm going to confirm my selection. Now I can choose the stakeholder to transfer the certificate to. Here I'll do 3 bake. I can choose the number of shares that transfer to this individual, and I can do the secondary price per share. And then I'll click Add Certificate, and on the right here, I'll give it a date of today. After saving the transaction, it'll then take you back to the screen here, and you'll begin to see it transferring to the other employee. I went ahead and didn't save it, as this is just a demo company, and I didn't want to mess with the demo. Now that we've added some share classes and our stakeholders here, we're going to take a look at convertibles. To add a convertible note, you'll select the plus convertible here, enter the convertible name. Under the type of convertible, here I'll select simple convertible, but we can also track post-money safe and pre-money safes as well. Here you'll give the issue date, the maturity date, the note prefix, principal multiple, the eligible rounds, whether this is a new round or one of the rounds that have already happened. You can also select the fully diluted basis here, such as pro forma or actual. You can do the conversion timing, which can occur before the round or with the round. Company capitalization, which includes new options only, conversions, existing shares only, both conversions and new options, as well as the discount percentage and the valuation cap, and the interest rate and the interest type, whether that is simple, compounded, or periodic, as well as the frequency of annual or monthly, and any accrued interest that may have occurred before this. Once you've added the convertible note here, you can see one we've already added. We can add a holder where we'll search up the individual within the company, enter a registered name if they used one, and then enter their investment amount. Here you can see the 4-letter prefix with the number incrementing from 1. Once you've added all convertibles to the system, you can add any warrants you have as well. As a note, you will need vesting schedules added to this, which you'll see in our next video related to awards. So here we'll select our underlying security. We'll have a stakeholder where you can look up the stakeholder or add the stakeholder if they haven't been added already. We'll enter the number of shares they had, the vesting template, the issue date, the expiration date, and the warrant number, as well as the exercise price, as well as the exercise price selection, which can be cash or withheld, and the tax payment election, which can be cash or withheld, in an event of a change in control, do they accelerate or continue to vest. You can also choose to calculate expense here, which will then go into our financial reporting software. And so that's how you add share classes, convertibles, and warrants.